Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into something that's probably on the minds of a lot of pet owners out there. Those vet bills.
Yeah, they can be a doozy.
Yeah.
Especially with vet costs going through the roof lately, especially here in California. We're going to dig into a document we found titled The Importance of Group Pet Insurance and the Rising Cost of Veterinary Services in California.
And let me tell you, this document does not hold back. It really gets into the nitty-gritty of why these costs are so high and why we might want to consider things like, group pet insurance that some companies are starting to offer their employees.
That's right.
So picture this. You're at the vet, your furry friend's looking a little worse for wear, and bam, you get hit with a bill that makes your jaw drop. We've all been there. And our source confirms it. Vet costs are rising way faster than inflation, particularly here in the Golden State.
Yeah, it's not just your imagination. This document actually breaks down some of the key factors driving up these costs, and it's a pretty interesting read.
So, spill the beans. What's the deal with these sky-high vet bills?
Well, one major factor is the incredible advancements in veterinary technology. Think about it. We've got treatments for our pets today that were unheard of just a few years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. My pup had this thing. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but they use laser surgery on my dog. It's mind-blowing.
Exactly. And the source actually talks about that. Laser surgery being used for tumor removal now, which is amazing for our pets. But of course, that kind of technology requires specialized training, expensive equipment, all of which adds up.
Right. Like someone's got to pay for those lasers.
It's true. And then you've got more pet owners opting for these advanced treatments, which is fantastic for our furry companions. But again, it contributes to those rising costs. And of course, we can't forget about the fact that everything's more expensive these days. Rents, supplies, you name it. Vet clinics are dealing with those same price hikes, which can impact what they need to charge.
Yeah, it's a chain reaction, and it all trickles down.
Exactly.
Our source even mentions an emergency vet visit could easily cost over $1,000. And if your pet needs surgery or has a chronic condition that needs ongoing care, forget about it. You're looking at a bill for several $1,000s potentially. Ouch.
It's scary to think about.
Definitely not something you want to face unprepared. So is that where this whole group pet insurance thing comes in?
It could be a big part of the solution, yeah.
Let's unpack that. What exactly is group pet insurance and how does it work? So group pet insurance, it sounds kind of like a no-brainer, but I'm sure there's more to it than meets the eye, right?
Well, the basic idea is pretty straightforward. It's all about group rates, kind of like how your employer can get you a better deal on health insurance because they're negotiating for a whole bunch of people.
Right. Strength in numbers.
Exactly. In this case, it's your employer leveraging, all the pet lovers in their workforce to get lower premiums from pet insurance companies.
Like a bulk discount, but for pet insurance.
Yeah.
Like it. But do these group plans actually offer decent coverage? Like, what are we talking about here?
That's the best part. These plans are often surprisingly comprehensive. We're talking routine checkups, emergency care, surgeries, even things like prescription medications, and those specialized treatments we were discussing earlier, like physical therapy.
Whoa, hold on. So it's not just like the bare minimum.
Not at all. The document actually lists out a bunch of stuff that's commonly included, and it's pretty impressive. And this is huge for pet owners because it means you're not just saving money up front, but you're also getting that peace of mind knowing you can actually afford to take care of your pet if something unexpected happens.
No more agonizing over whether you can swing that emergency surgery or that expensive medication.
Exactly. It takes away that financial worry and lets you prioritize your pet's health and well-being.
That's huge. Speaking of making pet insurance more accessible, our source mentions a company called Holistic Employee Benefits that's doing some interesting things in this space. What's their deal?
So, Holistic Employee Benefits, they're really focused on making it easier for employers to offer pet insurance without, breaking the bank.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking pet insurance is great and all, but if it's costing companies an arm and a leg to offer it, then what's the point, right?
Exactly. And that's where Holistic Employee Benefits is different. They actually don't charge employers anything to add this benefit.
Wait, seriously, no cost to the employer? That's amazing. That must be a huge selling point for HR departments.
It is. It removes a major barrier and makes it way more likely that companies will consider offering pet insurance as a benefit.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But what about the actual coverage? Like, what can pet owners expect if their employer goes with Holistic Employee Benefits?
Well, they offer up to $25,000 in coverage, which is pretty substantial. And they get that, every pet is different, every budget is different, so they have a bunch of different coverage levels to choose from.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal.
Yeah.
You can customize it based on your needs and what you can afford.
Exactly. They've got plans that cover accidents only, accidents and illnesses. You can even add on things like wellness care if you want coverage for those routine checkups and vaccinations.
That's really flexible, makes it accessible to a lot more people.
Definitely. And to top it off, they've tried to make managing everything super easy with this online portal they have. You can handle your policy, file claims, track reimbursements, all digitally.
Oh, so no more mountains of paperwork. Because, honestly, that's half the battle sometimes.
I hear you. They've really streamlined the whole process.
It sounds like they've really thought about the pain points for pet owners.
They've done their homework, for sure. But before we go too far down the holistic employee benefits rabbit hole, it's important to remember that employers aren't the only game in town when it comes to group pet insurance.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There are other ways to get those sweet, sweet group discounts.
Yeah. You can often find them through like professional organizations, alumni associations, even some credit unions offer them. So even if your workplace doesn't offer pet insurance yet, it's worth looking into these other avenues.
Good to know. So we've talked about the financial benefits, the peace of mind, but our source hints that there might be even broader advantages here, both for employees and the companies they work for, like bigger picture stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where things get really interesting.
Bigger picture stuff, huh? Like what?
Well, it turns out offering pet insurance as an employee benefit, it's not just about the money. It can actually say a lot about a company's culture, their values.
It's like they're saying, we get it, you have a life outside of work, and that life probably involves a furry friend.
Exactly. It shows employees that their well-being matters, and that includes the well-being of their pets. And these days, let's be real, finding a company that truly cares about its employees, that's huge.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive into this whole world of vet costs and pet insurance, what's the main takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the biggest thing to remember is being prepared is key. We know vet costs are going up, and those unexpected accidents or illnesses, they can happen to any pet, unfortunately. Having pet insurance, especially through a group plan where you can get those better rates, it gives you that safety net. You know you can focus on getting your pet healthy without stressing about the financial side of things.
It's not about spoiling our pets. It's about being able to give them the care they need, no matter what.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to navigate this alone. There are resources out there, companies like Holistic Employee Benefits that are trying to make pet insurance more affordable and easier to understand. Plus, there are other options to explore, like those professional organizations we talked about. It's about finding what works best for you and your furry friend.
And here's a final thought for all our listeners out there. If your employer doesn't offer pet insurance yet, maybe it's time to start a conversation. You never know, you might just spark a change.
It's all about starting that dialogue. Knowledge is power, right?
Couldn't agree more. And on that note, we'll wrap things up here. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.